Okay, well, it's the Odyssey release day. I mean, weekend coming upon us here. And you know what? I honestly think that the Odyssey is the pinnacle of where we're at with woke retardation entertainment. It really is. It is like the late stage wokeness. And I've talked about late stage wokeness for a long time. It's this smug destruction of cool. That's what essentially wokeness is it destroys what's cool. We're not even talking about Greek gods and epics and fantasy films and historical time periods. We're talking about characters like Matt Damon. I like Matt Damon. Now, they released this utterly cringe video. Now, why would they make such a thing? It is so unbelievably stupid and cringe. It's just like, it's almost like they know. It's almost like they know that, like, most people hate it, think it's stupid, think it's a dumb idea, and Nolan's in this creative mode right now that's like, I made it, and yeah, there's gonna be people who are upset about it, but deep down he's got to be thinking that he's like, made some mistakes here. It has to be. Now, if you remember Oppenheimer, this is a point I've brought up many times. Oppenheimer had absolutely no diversity in it at all, basically. There was zero of it, despite there actually being some African Americans who worked on the Manhattan Project that they could have easily employed for such a thing. But he didn't. So you really got to wonder about Nolan. Yeah, I mean, The Dark Knight, yeah, other movies of him do have diverse castings, but it never seems it is never seemed so so targeted in this way. This is peak woke retardation, targeted types of attacks on people that are against this stuff. It really is, isn't it? It certainly is seemingly like the Helen of Troy thing, the Elliot Page, Ellen Page, is it is it? Yeah, Ellen Page. Ellen Page is what she really is. But you have to wonder why this was made, if not at all just to some leftist Hollywood elitists just slip Nolan the message saying Paramount or whoever made this will give him that. Now he claims he's got full creative control over this thing, but he had to know that there would have been a huge backlash for this. Not only that making this crap, to me is pretty sad at the fact that Matt Damon, I'm tired boss Matt Damon. Now, if you recall, they launched a countdown trailer. Observe this. And it was, look at the ratio on it. 818,000 dislikes. That means out of the 8 million people that watched it, 10% of people said no, dislike. And only that is most people don't even interact with these buttons at all. So you gotta wonder out of that number how many people disliked it. That is a huge ass number for 818,000 people to say did not like. That is crazy amounts of people. Those potentially 800,000 tickets that just will not go see this movie. And I've already seen people pirating it online. Like you see on Twitter, like a link will pop up and it'll be like the full thing. So I don't know if someone's, done the Kramer, doing the camera in the theater type thing. But it all is very, very tiresome, isn't it? And it harkens back to, now you remember when this movie was first kind of making the rounds and getting its main trailers, there was a huge draw for people to return to greater movies that, roughly take place during the same time period. Ancient Greece, potentially even Greek gods. And I have a few examples I'd like to show you of that. It just looks like you have to say it just looks very modern. It doesn't look epic at all. It's very drab. It's very like let's talk outside of the wokeness, okay? Outside of the wokeness, there is this air of it's just kind of dark and moody. Matt Damon's sad, and Elliot Page is, running on the sandy beaches. Just like if you go outside of all of it, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look authentic. It doesn't look like it's a part of a historical timepiece because, well, lo and behold, we've gotten some very good movies. Now, I did a trailer. I mean, I've reviewed Troy. It's a fantastic film. It really is, and it literally is. It's like the antithesis of, there's the Odyssey and then there's Troy. Here's two movies that have vastly varying, like, look at the absolute opulence and beauty of all that. Like, just some of the scenes in Troy are just spectacular. You can just like the Brad Pitt, the way he is, and the armors, and it all just feels so unbelievably authentic. And that is like what a contrast. Now, in a perfect world, in a void, without without Troy, you could look at Christopher Nolan's. Now, it still probably would look crap, but you could probably look at this and be like, it's kind of like a dark, moody film. It's kind of goofy. The armors look kind of a weird, but when you have a movie and everybody's all emotional and crying and stuff, but, but in a vacuum, you could even would even look bad. The Odyssey would look bad even in a vacuum without Troy. But with Troy from 2000, what was it for? I think it was 2004 or something. It just mogs it on all levels. The scenery, the heroic spirit of it, the beauty of every scene, and the set pieces. You just like, it's like you just cannot. The battle scenes are insane in Troy. It's there is so much. Now, there is another movie, and this, of course, is more different. This isn't the Odyssey. This is another Greek epic story, and that is 300. Now, 300 is not a historically accurate movie. Why would they go into battle Spartans as this? But it's a fun little kind of almost like superhero film, which surprisingly from Zack Snyder, who after he made this brilliant, brilliant movie 300, went on to make all manners of superhero mehness. But I mean, like, going back to 300, 300 is a freaking awesome movie. 300 will always be an awesome movie. There's something about it that, yeah, maybe it's embellished a little bit on the Greek world, maybe a little bit. And we don't even talk about the sequel, which is okay at best, but I mean, it was never going to do anything to touch the original. Even when you have that, you have, like, let's go back and look at 300. Like, 300 was freaking awesome movie, and it does, yeah, maybe it's, slightly different time periods and stories, and historical. There's a difference between historically accurate and, you know, actually like an entertaining, well thought out movie. You know what I mean? The Odyssey is not a very entertaining looking and well thought out movie. It's a movie that you would never want to, spend money on. It's like, what a waste of Matt Damon. I know that Matt Damon is like he's definitely woke Hollywood alumni, but I mean, if this was a well thought up thing from Nolan, if Nolan really had a creative, and wasn't just catering to this sort of, moody, like everybody says like this was Nolan's choice. It wasn't like some Universal Hollywood executives that said this. Maybe it wasn't even because he wanted to get an Oscar, and maybe it wasn't even because he wanted to do all that. But in essence, like if Nolan actually had a heart for this thing and was like, let's make it as authentic as possible. And maybe not every actor needs to be Greek. Maybe not every armor piece needs to be perfect. But like really, like this is what he came up with. It just does not look great. It just doesn't look great. And it's not something that is going to change when I watch the movie, and people are already saying it's even worse than like that. Like at the end credit roll, it busts out in a Travis Scott rap. What were you thinking, Nolan? That is like just absolutely atrocious. It starts off and Elliot Page is like fighting or something, and people just keep saying it's worse than what you think. So I truly believe Nolan has just screwed himself on this. This is a horrendous project. There may not be terrible scenes in it, but as a goofy thing, but the general idea of this thing and the premise is just terrible, and people are picking up on it. Like people just really hate it. Like look at some of these comments. It's also tiresome. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, and it literally does. It's just like there's a global collective sigh of this movie that's saying you could have this classic gif. I love that gif. GIF. But I mean, like there's just a collective sigh saying you had a Nolan movie that is based on the Odyssey, and you just the three big ones for me were Helen of Detroit, Travis Scott in a fucking Greek movie with rap music, so stupid, and also Elliot Page. All three things like that just ruins it. You know what I mean? And Tom Holland too. Like Tom Holland doesn't seem like the type. He doesn't like look at it. He doesn't at all look like he looks so out of place in this setting. Terrible casting, and you can tell by some of the casting. Your Matt Damon's, your Tom Holland's, your Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Robert. What Pattinson, but it all speaks to him just saying, let's just get a lot of like famous actors, and he didn't put any thought into all these things. Now another movie. Now this is like, of course, this is Roman times and completely different. But man, is Rome the TV show ever amazing? It's this kind of thing. Of course, Gladiator. The original Gladiator. The second movie, the second Gladiator movie, is the same crap as Odyssey. They're taking and they're just modernizing a movie. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, brother. Ray Stevenson, rest in peace, brother. But anyway, so there's art and there's modern entertainment. I separate the two things. I've separated the two things in gaming. I separate the two things in movies, films, and TV. It's you have people nowadays who they're not making art, they're making products. And as something as revered to me as video games and movies it's like if you took a really nice painting, and instead of that painting, you just like printed off some advertisement for KFC, and you put that up instead of a wonderful scenic work of art that's beautiful and trees and meadows and all this stuff. Instead of making a painting that is like beautiful and a person put 100 hours into painting this beautiful artistic artwork, you just printed off a KFC logo and you put it in there instead. That's exactly the metaphor that I use with this stuff. And And people know this stuff. People are not dumb. They recognize when a movie or game is a work of art in comparison to just a product, and it's in how they make it. And Nolan, he gets a lot of praise. I love The Dark Knight. I love The Joker. I love, Oppenheimer is a great movie, but there's lots of movies like Tenet and this and that I just didn't really care about. A lot of movies in his early career. So I don't put Nolan on the absolute highest pedestal that it appears like, a lot of people do. He's not the greatest. I'm a big Tarantino person. I like others. And yeah, it's he's done something to his career that is very sinister, I think, because he's framing it as he was making good choices when a lot of creatives, were outside of the culture war talk. A lot of creatives, a lot of intelligent people I've seen are just taking the side against it. Not only for, like, look at this. So we have this is a thing. This is a thing that's going to happen. Now, whether or not these in 3 weeks or whatever, it's completely different. You're going to have, where's Rotten Tomatoes? Anyways, you're going to have things like you have 99% critic scores. People say, oh, yeah, it's the best movie ever made. Yeah, great. Like, it doesn't matter. You had Citizen Vigilante that was like 20% tomato meter, 100% popcorn. A lot of people are calling this out, and you see this online, is that movie critics don't mean anything. Like, we don't care what they say. Like, if you're a professional, like, let's look at some of these reviews. If you're the Sun UK do say Pierce 5 out of 10, I don't give a fuck about your opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit about some of these people's thoughts because, 3 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s, B's, 7 out of 10. Turns out the breathtaking. There's all words like the best movie ever made. Like, really? Is it? Is it A minus? What the hell is that score? A minus. But it's all these like it is these kinds of things where people just don't care about critics anymore. I don't care about the scores. IGN, I don't respect their opinion, and when you don't respect critics' opinions as we do, a lot of people do in modern day, you don't have to have Carl Argrand from Heaven of Horror. They're probably guaranteed that person likes lame ass shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and JVS Media Productions, 10 out of 10. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure that you're a very legitimate film critic. What did you give Citizen Vigilante, a movie that most of the Western world overwhelmingly beloved? So it's very political. 5 out of 10 one. Let's read this 5 out of 10. Where does it go? Oh, that takes you to like their website or whatever. Let's just read the blurb. Instead of a movie too dense with complex logic, he made something that's nearly vacant of any mythical power. Quite an epic achievement. So I think, you know what? I think that a lot of critics, when they went and saw this, they were like, reputation, honesty. Most of them are going to take, reputation. They're going to take their reputation. You're going to get some that are just like, honestly, this is not good. Because there's no way it could be. I don't care if it's like the craziest crap ever going on screen. Like you got Napito Luongo as that best picture race is already over. Oh yeah, you wait till you see the Oscars this year, and it's the Odyssey is the greatest movie. Wow. Let's see Citizen Vigilante get any Oscars. So we exist in the timeline, a void of honesty and integrity amongst these people. Um, Epic stretch, Christopher Nolan, and you know, when you see Western media, you know, Odyssey is 2 hours and 50 long. Christopher Nolan's epic worth the runtime. When you see these Western studios going head over heels for this thing, you know there's a political messaging in it. Now, will there be an allegory for ice in this? Like, I don't know. Like, there could be. But these are the type of people that are making this movie. You know, Matt Damon and Zendaya. Yeah. Zendaya ends the Odyssey area with not one but two goddesses' gold looks. Zendaya is just a whole other thing. You know, she is obviously a Nepo baby. She's obviously got connections in the industry, and she just gets shoveled into every fucking role in the entirety of the thing. So, I mean, it's funny. It is very funny. This was... oh, it's terrible that what they've done with this thing. And you know what? Like, I forget if there was a time when I was like, oh, Christopher Nolan's making a Greek one. Like, before you heard about the casting, before you saw all the trailers and how drab and stupid it looked. Do I hate John Bernthal because he's in this? It's like, okay, let's see John Bernthal. Look at John Bernthal's face. Is like, I'm getting paid $10K for this, right? Yeah, like, hey, John Bernthal, guess what? We're doing a promo for the Odyssey, and you'll have to come and say 5 words tied to the Odyssey, and we're doing it and making it like a rap song, and we'll pay you like $14,000. Okay, yeah. Look at John Bernthal's face. He's like, are we really doing this? John Bernthal was in The Wolf of Wall Street. Here, wait. Let's just see. Let's just make sure I'm not talking on my ass here. Yeah, I mean, The Wolf of Wall Street. Like, I mean, listen to the N word is in it. The absolute insanity of all the different things that happens in The Wolf of Wall Street, and then you're gonna play this. Yeah, sure, John Bernthal. Very, very, you know, very hilarious that, yeah, he says this. So yeah, I mean, there's certain things that are like allowed in film, and this is not one of them. That's what I did. This one should be good. This is fun though. I find it interesting. It is an interesting time in movies. Oppenheimer 93. You know, clearly this is just gonna be a dunk on Oppenheimer thing. One battle after another. Yeah, woke Hollywood. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I mean, like, Reddit of all places is gonna have real intelligent takes on this, I'm sure. But ever did. I like the part when Matt Damon says this is the Odyssey. Yeah, I'm sure Reddit's all over this. Thoughts on Odyssey? Probably, yeah, 10. My dad is coming home set with emotional depth of I want fruit for breakfast. Holland is, as always, is bland. He was miscast. Some people think he should be. Look at that. That's an upper post on that true film. Some people think he should be the new Bond. Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah, no kidding. Holland as Bond would be a fucking goddamn nightmare. Tom Holland is not a very good actor. He was good for Spider-Man, but not outside of that. Where do you rank it with other Nolans? Top three? Not yet sure where I'd rank it. All fine. Tell us what you really want to know. How do you feel about Session Joke? Very much disagree about Holland. Um, yeah. I also hated the final action sequence. Felt very out of place. Too long, cliche choreography. Lots of scenes lacked impact. I mean, whatever you think about it as a movie on hold. See, this is the part that I was like, you can have a whole movie full of, good, interesting parts, crappy parts, hilariously stupid parts, ups and downs and ebbs and flows, but the general concept of this whole thing, taking all these diverse cast members and Elliot Page is Achilles or whoever, and Lupita Luongo now is Helena Troy. We just race swapped just because that's what we do, and I'm sure that's Nolan's very creative and intelligent decision. It's just like you can't, like, good, bad, ugly, terrible, whatever you want. It's gonna suck. It's not something I would ever want to do. Look at Roger Ebert. 4 out of 4 stars. IGN 7. Christopher Nolan tries it. It's crazy. Like, have you ever, like, and you're in trouble with a movie when you have modern, IGNs and mainstream news, BBC. I gotta be careful of that one. Covering for this thing. The Odyssey is a colossal piece of cinema. Critics say it's rave reviews. Like, that's Western propaganda in nutshells. They're just trying to treat people like they're stupid. Like, have you heard about all the backlash of the Odyssey online? It's not real because it's a great movie. Go see it. That they're like that about that. I like it. I really like how, like, Travis Scott is never in any of this promotional stuff. It's almost like he doesn't even give a shit, which he doesn't. Let's be honest. He doesn't give a crap. He probably was like, yeah, I own them. I owned all them because I'm in a movie. They're not. Like, that's the way that a guy like that would think. He's just an asshole, idiot. He had no thought. And how Christopher Nolan even got a hold of him, or Lupita Luongo, or whatever. We'll just put Zendaya in it. Put a chick in it. Make it lame and gay. And look at BBC and saying Christopher Nolan has made the best movie ever. And poor Matt Damon. That's Matt Damon. I'm tired, boss. Yeah, I is such a waste of Matt Damon in this. He looks kind of epic, but he also looks very tired in the entirety of the movie. He looks tired in the press tours. He looks. What's so hilarious about Matt Damon? Here, wait, let's go at Matt Damon. What looks so hilarious about Matt Damon and all this is that he looks nervous about this one, doesn't he? It's almost as if he knows that this is going to be just absolutely, look at him. Look at the concern on Matt Damon's face. It's very funny. They put him in Fortnite. Did they? Yeah, they put him in Fortnite. It does kind of look like Matt Damon. He looks very concerned about this whole thing. He does. And I don't think that Matt Damon deserves to be, like, this isn't Matt Damon's fault. He's just an actor. I'm sure he's 100% on board with this project. But at the same time, like, Matt Damon exists in a sphere that none of us, that he's been a rich movie star forever. He, lives in millions and millions of dollars, more money than he can ever spend. He credits himself as a very talented and intelligent actor. Like, he's not gonna get involved in like the woke and you know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna concern himself at this point in his life. He's just gonna go along with anything. And maybe there was a thought or two in Matt Damon's head and being like, Helen of Troy is a black woman? You're really going to do this? No? Okay, yep. Like he's going to do that. So it's very funny stuff. Do we want to hate Matt Damon forever for this? Probably not. It's just unbelievably sad that we could have gotten a Matt Damon. That looks like a scene from fucking Star Wars. What the hell are they doing there? Matt Damon is a Jedi on Tatooine. He seeks Zendaya's help in identifying different things. The Force is strong with this. I'm Matt Damon. And like historically, we're like, I don't want to get into like that side of it, because it's not as relevant as possible. I mean, look at 300. Look how like historically, Lupita Nyong'o being black, that is not a historical issue. That's a cultural issue. You know what I mean? That's them saying we're gonna just make her black because that'll make black people happy. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make Helen of Troy black because why not? Black people should be allowed to be Helen of Troy. Why not allowed? Well, then why can't a white actress play Harriet Tubman? Well, it's not the same because she's a real person, and you can't do that because I was like, why can't we make Martin Luther King a Filipino person? Can we do that? No? Okay, yeah, sure. It always is, and part of it's purposeful, cultural Marxism, erasing, destroying, overtaking, that what you deem as, SW supremacy. But also part of it is just pure arrogance, pure smugness, and just saying we can do that. Like I wish I knew. I wish I knew that Elliot Page is fucking hilarious, but I mean, whatever. You're gonna do that. But I mean, let's talk about all three of them: Lupita Nyong'o, Travis Scott, Elliot Page. All three of those. I'd love to know the process of Nolan going, who should I get to play Homer? Who should I get to play Helen of Troy? Who should I get? I can't. There's been back and forth of what Elliot Page actually is, whether she's Achilles or like Achilles is like a sidekick or something weird about that. But so, anyways, where did Nolan go? I wonder who should play this character. Let's see. Brad Pitt. We got Helen of Troy's Sydney Sweeney. Lupita Nyong'o, a bald black woman. It's like, yay! There you go. That's a smart choice. It's like, how? How did Nolan make these choices? One could surmise that he's got a little checkbook out saying, okay, Oscars usually prefers LGBT, we got, black woman, black rapper, like he's just checking those boxes as he goes through the casting choices. The only thing that would have made this movie more perfect would be if Pedro Pascal is in it. That would truly, resound it. So I hope you enjoyed my talk on the Odyssey. I'm not going to go see this movie, and I know exactly how it is. Whether the movie is successful financially or not, makes $1 billion, or whether it absolutely crashes and burns, which, let's be honest, will be the absolute funniest and most entertaining outcome of this all, is if it just bombs. People have been posting things like empty theaters and stuff. Who knows? The thing that people don't realize, and this is what perpetrates a lot of these shitty woke movies from just existing, is that there's a good amount of people who don't really care about the culture wars. And this is like there's more and more. Trust me, as this stuff becomes more pervasive, there are more and more and more and more people every single day that really hate this stuff and join our culture, our cultural wars side on the side of the chuds. But you when Tom Holland goes like that, oh, that's cringe. Oh, that's cringe. That's so fucking cringe. But Star Wars, I mean, like, I cannot believe the Mandalorian flopped because Mandalorian was okay in my books. Um, and yeah, essentially, it just like people just are new Star Wars movie. I don't know. Like, I'll skip this one. You know what I mean? Like, it's become that. So, anyways, the Odyssey, financially, whatever. Maybe it will make money. Maybe it won't. Who knows? I don't really care either way. It would be really terrible if it made billions, 2 billions, 1.4 billion. But like, look at this insanity. Like, how does that cost? How does it cost so much money? Like, Troy looked like it cost like 100 times more than the Odyssey. Look at all the crazy set designs and armor, the hundreds of armor pieces they had to make, and the amazing set design and stuff. And then you go to the Odyssey, and it's just like they're just like in the Greek countryside, you know? You know what I mean? Like, how did it cost so much? It looked like you get that. Those armors look like they're 3D fucking printed. You know what I mean? But I don't know. There's so many sides to this movie. There's the is it a good movie? No, of course not. It's stupid. It's a stupid idea. It's a stupid execution. Terrible that Nolan, Robert Pattinson, John Bernthal, and Matt Damon got wrapped up into this whole thing because they're all people that I generally like besides this movie. But the financial aspect, like the film cost 250 million to produce, with an extra 125 million for marketing, and needs about 625 million to 750 just to break even the film. Blah 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 blah. Those insane amounts of money. Like, you know what I mean? It was a hell of a gamble. A hell of a gamble it did on all this. And we'll just see. We'll see how it pans out. It's certainly been an odyssey, that's for sure. Now, on the flip side of odysseys, there is a game that is a great game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And this is what I'll just use as a segue to the end of this video. Let's bring this up. Yeah, AC Odyssey. This is like about the best ancient Greek game that you could ever hope for, which is crazy, I think, because Ubisoft is absolutely no. Ubisoft is no, perfect golden goose. They've messed up their fair share of everything and put wokeness in it. But Odyssey is just a very odd quality of a game. The voice acting, the environments. Like, of course, a lot of the engines of Ubisoft can produce good games, beautiful looking games. But there's something particular about Odyssey. It's just a very good game. It's epic. Alexios and his sister are great characters. Cassandra, they're great characters. A lot of the side NPCs are very interesting. It's very cool to be, jumping up on the sides of these giant, buildings. It's beautiful. The ancient Greece environment. It's just a game that a lot of Assassin's Creed games are good. but this seems to just be above the rest. And you can see it in the player reception in the community too. People are just like, this is ancient Greece, the game, the definitive experience. And to have this from Ubisoft when there's the Odyssey movie coming out that's fucking terrible looking, it's just like, go play Odyssey. Like, that's what, if you've never played Assassin's Creed Odyssey and you even have a little teeny tiny sliver of interest in ancient Greece, like, you have got to play Odyssey. It is fantastic movie that shines above. And people, like, this is my opinion, I'll die on this hill. It is just as good as The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 and Odyssey, I've spent more time in Odyssey than did The Witcher 3. Witcher 3, I beat everything. I searched the lands, roamed the lands for a while, and I was done with it. Odyssey, I'm just always coming back to just hang out on those beautiful beaches and look at all that cool architecture and be a part of that world. It is a game that transcends Ubisoft, which is crazy to think of, that Ubisoft, Lexios is just such a freaking cool dude, and he's such a hero, and so I love Odyssey. I'll never stop singing the praises of Odyssey. So yeah, fuck Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, and hell yes to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And there's plenty of great stuff out there for you to see that is more historical and more awesome. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Odyssey. Let's see how it all goes.